a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern on CRN.
Welcome to the Powers of Love, a raw and real conversation about the most powerful force in the universe and how to liberate this power within to have a happy, healthy, and prosperous life. Now here's your hosts, Jason Michael and Heather Powers.
Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. We are so grateful that you are here joining us. We are in store for a really dynamic conversation today with a very dear sister of ours who is an incredible just light on the planet. And Jason's going to tell you a little bit more about her, but we're grateful that she is with us. Just want to remind you, each week we want to set our intention of the mission that we are carrying through this show, and that is to help awaken more love on the planet. By helping people connect and embody to the love presence we all are to our core. The relationships that we have are the foundation of all life. And we know that as we build that relationship with ourselves, the relationships with others dynamically and naturally change.
We are approaching Halloween. Ooh, the ghouls and the goblins within and without are here. So just happy Sunday, everybody. I do want to, before I introduce our guest, I do want to just give a nod to Dr. Grant. We were listening to her show on the way here. It was just a powerful show. It's just great to be sandwiched here with this really powerful love consciousness. You know, as I always say, love is the most powerful force in the universe, and we get to use it intelligently and consciously or not, and haphazardly create a world.
Hopefully we evolve and we continue to use it a little bit better all the time.
Keep trying.
That's what we're going for.
Yes. So without further ado, I would love, it is my honor to read a little bit to introduce our listeners to Kaia Ra, is the world-renowned ordained oracle for an ascended master high council called the Sophia Dragon Tribe, and the international best-selling author of the Sophia Code book series. She's a divine feminine teacher, speaker, ceremonialist, medicine woman, minister, and community leader teaching the Sophia Code curriculum worldwide. The Sophia Code is a sacred text that provides Kaia Ra's direct revelations on the ineffable mysteries of Sophia, including a divine feminine Christ blueprint for activating humanity's sovereign divinity and birthing a new golden age of miracles. Kaia Ra offers the teachings of the Sophia Code as an embodied, living transmission that amplifies and elevates a conscious communion with the truth of humanity's sovereignty with the one Sophia source. Her oracular gifts for channeling, ascension training, charismatic speaking, writing, psychic counseling, shamanic healing, live performance, and ceremonial leadership guides the spiritual awakening of light workers across the globe.
So good. So good.
So, Kaia Ra, welcome to the Powers of Love. Are you with us?
Welcome, love.
Oh my gosh, can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Okay. It is such an honor to be here. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction, Jason. Thank you both so much. It's wonderful to hear both of your voices broadcasting across this national syndicated radio show, and just to feel the waves of divine love that are being offered from your union, from what's coming from both of your hearts together as one in your marriage in this beautiful show. I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to co-create this moment of more love for all of us.
We're totally smiling from ear to ear because I know when Jason, brought the idea, there was just, we've been on a journey together, and so it seemed like such a natural, beautiful marriage. As we often say, we have these powerful trinities that come together. You know, the two of us hold space with other amazing beings, and there's just a beautiful synergy. And so it is a joy, a pure joy to have you with us today.
Thank you.
We love as we say.
We do.
Yeah, it was a vision because for those out there, I mean, Kaia is such a special, dear sister of ours, and you have impacted our life incredibly. Early on in our journey, of this Sophia Code, we were given a unique opportunity to really be involved in just some parts of the process of the creation of this. And as we said, we were invited in Kaia's world to kind of be a feedback and kind of an editing loop of what this was, this Sophia Code. And here was this transmission that was really, truly editing our hearts and our lives and awakening something and activating and reminding us of something we knew so deeply in our core heart that we are just, it is a gift, it is a joy to be spending this time. And listeners, we're going to be doing a 4-week series, a four-part series, not 4 weeks, but a 4-part series with Kaia here. So this is just a conversation that's going to continue for the next few months or so.
So as we get started, I think the first thing, Kaia, that we just wanted to open up in conversation was, and I know it's really tapping into everything that's going on currently with, the sexual harassment, the Me Too campaigns. It's incredibly important to understand how this transmission was catalyzed for you. How did this come to be?
In relation to the recent events with the Me Too campaign?
Well, just the current affairs with everything going on in the world with, where we have all of this exposure. There's, sexual rings, pedophilia rings coming to the forefront, and knowing that, we're in this tender space of where the feminine is beginning to rise, and what you bring forward is the Sophia heart. How did that come out of your heart? What was the catalyst to even being, this transmission coming through you?
Well, so in the preface of the Sophia Code, I share that the first 18 years of my life, I had survived systemic rape and torture through a child rape slave trade ring that was perpetuated by a lineage, a very elite lineage here in the United States, and through that journey of extreme darkness, it was that I actually experienced multiple near deaths, or I don't even call them near death. I call them death experiences because I don't know how I came back other than through the grace of God, because it was definitely pronounced dead several times. And in that journey, my best friends in the heart of that darkness were the ascended masters and the archangels and angels that would appear to me and would walk me into the light and take care of me in the higher realms of creation and assist me in remaining strong and focused upon my purpose in this lifetime, which was to eventually, when it was that moment, to birth the Sophia Code as a divine feminine Christ blueprint for awakening humanity's consciousness. So the journey that I went on in the first half of my life was such extreme darkness, so that ultimately I could show the world that it was possible to heal from everything as a living embodiment and example, that I should be dead or crazy, like completely insane from everything that I survived. Half of what I survived isn't even in the preface, just to spare some of the details of what I survived, but to provide enough that people really understood that the light of Sophia, which is the light of that Holy Mother presence that's a part of the one source, what many people call God or Buddha, some people call the Christ energies. It's that one source light that has aspects of masculine and feminine principles. And in this journey of being inside the prayer to save my own life with the help of these masters and angels and guides, the prayer was revealed that it was these divine feminine principles of direct communion with the source, of using my intuition and my psychic gifts for oracular channeling, that was actually the tools and gifts that were helping me to survive and then eventually thrive. And it provided that inner pathway for receiving the sacred text which I spent 7 years writing down and working on and making sure that it was really in the form that it needed to be before releasing that first blueprint to the world. So I was absolutely, after my escape, putting my life back together was the main focus for most of my 30s. And in that journey in 2009, while living on the side of Mount Shasta, I had this extraordinary direct experience with what most people would call God, where I was taken into the light, and completely all of physical reality dematerialized around me, and it was just me within this light. And within this light, I was asked to commune with this presence, this omniscient presence that had the voice of a woman, and that a very feminine voice. And she asked me to call her Sophia. And she said, "I am the divine mother creatrix of all life. Are you listening to me?" And I thought, and I answered back. I was totally disoriented, but I'd never experienced anything like that in my channeling. And I said, "Do you mean like the Greek goddess of wisdom?" And she said, "No. Look around. There's nothing but light here. This is I am the everything." And eventually, she introduced me to an entire council of ascended masters in this experience, but she herself was just a light. And I went on a journey for years after that, exploring what this consciousness of Sophia was. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Sophia is the same number of letters as source. Mm. So in that, I was connecting with divine feminine and divine masculine principles and mysteries, what we call sacred mysteries, ineffable truths where they seem like spiritual paradoxes that actually come together into pearls of wisdom that transform our lives, such as how does the light come from the black nothing? How does so much suffering create such a deep access to the light within us? Mm-hmm. And things like this, that I was brought on a journey to really explore these divine feminine wisdoms and how they were going to transform my life. Mm-hmm. And in this journey, the pinnacle of which all of these teachings are based around was what Sophia guided me, and the High Council guided me to have to talk about, to witness and write down and talk about. And it was a motherboard, in a sense, a divine genome of crystalline chromosomes that acted as an interface between in the human body and the universe, in the subatomic universe of the body, that there were these crystalline chromosomes that could be activated. The bridges of light, through our conscious activation of them, could be built between the divine genome to our biological, otherwise known as carbon-based DNA. And that this bridge of light from our divine genome would activate our biological DNA to be able to start operating from the perspective of what we call our higher self-consciousness. Which is, that higher self is what we often talk about in more of the traditional Christian sense, the soul. Mm-hmm. The soul that's been made in the image and likeness of our one Creator. So in regards to how all of this is related to the Me Too campaign,
you know what, Kaia? We're about to go into commercial break, so this
perfect.
is just hold that thought, because I think that's an important thought.
We'll start
pick
right
that up.
there, yeah, for sure.
But just listeners, you are in a transmission. I can guarantee you that right now. So just hang tight, sit, open your heart, open your mind, and you might hear something that will remind you of who and what you are and where you come from. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Powers of Love, Jason Michael and Heather Powers, with our dear sister Kaia Ra, author of the Sophia Code. We'll be right back, right after this.
Do you have problems with money? Would you like to never worry about money again? I'm Dr. James Mellon, and starting on November 1st, join me for CPR, core prosperity relief. In just 15 minutes a day for 30 days, I will help you, like I've helped thousands before you, get clear on money. For $90, put the life pulse back into your finances. Check me out at jamesmellon.org. That's jamesmellon with 2 L's.org.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
Welcome back. We are here with our dear sister Kaia Ra and having a really powerful conversation on the rising of the feminine Christ consciousness and what that really means in this time that we are all being brought into some really tender spaces as a collective, especially where the feminine and masculine relationships are concerned. And so, babe, do you want to kind of bring us back in?
Yeah, I remember when I read the Sophia Code in the first preface and heard your story, Kaia, and I literally wept so hard just because of what has been covered, what has been suppressed, what has been closed doors by powers that be. And I am so grateful. And in our inner sanctum prayer time, I mean, it's been calling this forth. No more, full disclosure. Let all of it be revealed so that we can heal this ancient wound. And your journey, you are a heroine in our heart, and what you and the microcosm of what you have just expressed is where we as humanity is about to embark. And you are a beacon on this planet right now, and it's our honor to hold this space with you. I wanted to share, it's interesting you mentioned Shasta because you can't see it, but our backdrop is Shasta.
And we're getting ready to go there with couples and do this kind of work as well, just healing these sexual distortions and the cause. So back to the Me Too campaign, because I know you were kind of on a roll right there, and would love to hear what you were wanting to share.
Yeah, thank you for everything that you just said. As far as the Me Too campaign, that actually brought up some wonderful inner material for me and some wonderful inner fire. I loved the intention on watching and witnessing so many women and men rising up together in solidarity and expressing their feelings and allowing that first level of truth to come through. And I one of the pieces that I was just going to close with before I go any further with that piece was just that the Sophia Code is how I saved and healed my life. And I've worked with so many other survivors of rape consciousness, of acts of rape consciousness that have literally gone on this same journey and have begun to do miraculous healings for themselves in their own life because of what's been transmitted through the sacred text. And the healing and reconciliation of all devastating woundings of annihilation consciousness and rape consciousness is the return and reconciliation with our divinity. There's nothing else that can reconcile the unforgivable. There's nothing else that can actually heal this level of darkness than the purity of our truth light, which is what we receive the remembrance of through the Sophia Code, that this is a living covenant between our creatrix, creator of all life, that said, you are holy, you are pure, you are invincible divine love, that no matter what happens to you out there in the world of form, that you're experiencing to discover your own free will and your own power to create any reality that you want, the truth of your divinity will always set you free. So it's going to set everyone free in this story. And that's a whole we could spend hours going into the Christ consciousness of what that is going to imply. And fortunately, we have a series of shows to walk through, to maybe just explore more of that. But as far as where the energetics and resonance of where your question was pointing to with the Me Too campaign, I think one of the most powerful things that we can do is to actually start identifying that what we're attempting to reconcile, what humanity is attempting to reconcile with, is how to forgive itself for rape consciousness. Okay? There's no such thing as sexual assault. There's no such thing as sexual harassment, and I wrote about this in my Facebook post. It's all rape consciousness. It's all acts of rape consciousness. There's no such thing as molestation. Okay? It's all comes from, if you look at a tree, it's coming from it starts out as a seed. It starts from a seed, and from that seed roots grow out, and then from the roots grow up this branching of a manifestation. All acts of rape come from rape consciousness. That seed of rape consciousness, which is a virus here on this planet and within the heart of humanity. That's what we're attempting to reconcile with at this time.
Okay, we're gonna start right back where we left off here in just a few minutes. You are listening to The Powers of Love with Kaia Ra, and we will be right back after these brief messages. Go ahead.
Go and join us at thepowersoflove.com. Go to powersoflove.com and email us. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what questions you may have. How are you feeling about what's being said right now? You can go to thepowersoflove1111@gmail.com. We'll be right back right after this.
Do you know where to get linguine and clams delivered at 3 in the morning? It's the Bootlegger Italian Bistro on the South Strip. Dennis Bono loves the calamari fritti, and Anthony Bourdain loves Mama's pasta and meatballs. I'm Lorraine Hunt Bono, and I love all of Mama's recipes, especially when I'm having dinner with Dennis.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, Las Vegas Boulevard in Robindale. The best food and gaming 24/7, where parking is always free.
Hi everyone, this is Fred Gerard with a big announcement. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Don't miss this classic modern-day Western set along Highway 395 in California. It's an action thriller with some romance too. You can own Highway 395 today by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co. Get my new movie, Highway 395, and check out my new website, freddryer.co.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Welcome back. You are listening to The Powers of Love with Jason Michael and Heather Powers and the beautiful Kaia Ra. Kaia, you were just talking about the seedling growing into one tree, and I would love to hear the rest of your thought on that because that was powerful.
Yeah, so the journey of consciousness is that every type of consciousness starts from the seed of a belief system, and the belief system that has grown into the tree of rape consciousness is that we're separate from our one divine mother, our one holy mother, and that rape has nothing to do with sexuality. Sexuality is communion. Sexuality is consensual. Sexuality is something that happens between two individuals that are saying yes to witnessing one another. Right. And the vacuous domination, it's about power and the misuse of power and control. And slavery consciousness, that's what rape consciousness arises out of. So that's why it's really important for us to identify that the root of rape consciousness is about power and domination. It has nothing to do with sexuality. If we can start to separate these two things in our dialogue about what we're healing from, if we can clearly identify, hey, all of this is connected to a rape consciousness, then we can clearly identify what it is that we're so grief-stricken about, so in shock about. Further, we can clearly identify what are the solutions, how do we reconcile with this through the creativity of our divinity? How do we come together by clearly calling a spade and saying, hey, that's rape. Hey, here's our divinity, and here's what we want to create in response to this consciousness. We want to create safety. We want to create acknowledgement, respect, We want to create containers where people can freely express their feelings so that then they can move through them and be able to access their own empowerment to rise above being victims of this consciousness to moving into spaces of, hey, I survived this consciousness. And now I'm rising to thrive and show the rest of humanity that this consciousness, no matter how atrocious it is, has no power over me because I am a divine being having a human experience. And in that divine love, I am invincible.
Oh, amen. That is the truth.
Chills.
I mean, it's, I just invite our listeners to take a breath because this is powerful stuff coming through right now. So, there's two things that's come to my heart when I'm hearing this. We just recently saw Rose McGowan, who's really inspired this.
The Rose Army.
She just spoke, and just with her fist raised high, I am, this is the Rose Army. And it's interesting. It's a paradox of sorts. I remember sitting very significantly in a very sacred spiritual gathering with you, Kaia, and something that profoundly shifted my whole paradigm was said as you were really channeling Divine Mother, Mother Mary specifically. And through you, she said, put down your sword and pick up the rose. And as a warrior, as a guardian on this planet in my heart, for all that is sacred, for the Divine Mother and this planet, to no longer be fighting against something, but to pick up the rose path, to walk this path of love, of one love. And what you said, for all those, for the problem and the solution, to walk this path of forgiveness, this deep place that you've gone, is oneness with the source, the creatrix of all life, which we are knowing as Sophia. And the mother's presence is just so prominent on this planet right now. It's,
I want to just say too that, in all of this rising up, and I appreciate two things that you represent, Kaia. You represent, in the way that you're communicating, such a resolve and a strength, but there is a softness to how you are sharing it. And it is in such a solid foundation of, I don't even say unconditional love, of just love. That almost unconditional makes it smaller than it really is. And it's really easy as women are rising, to rise in retaliation rather than to rise in empowerment and understand exactly what you're talking about, that that we are never separate from our source, our mother. So thank you for the way that you represent that strength, and but not resentment.
Thank you, Heather.
Do you want to share, baby?
Would you be open, because we're here, we're talking about Sophia, and I would just love to, are you open to me reading a part of the Sophia Code?
Oh, I have a passage selected right here.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah. So for those of you who have your copy of the Sophia Code, we would go to page 5, and we can read a few paragraphs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, starting in paragraph 5. Oh, 5, 5. I'll just read what she showed me to read, okay. I am Sophia, your original Divine Mother source. As you invite my presence to permeate your awareness, you will only discover more and more of your own holy nature. Plunging into the ineffable depths of my immaculate creative power provides you with a perfect mirror of your own soul, a pure reflection of your divinity that you can no longer deny. Allow me to baptize you with my unconditional divine love so that you may recognize the perfect Sophia Christ light of your own soul. In my revelations, you will know the great I am within you. This present moment is an invitation to feel your sovereign soul abiding within our perfect union. The self-realization of your divine human potential on earth requires a full relinquishing of the illusion that we are separate. Although this illusion has previously served your soul's expansion, it no longer serves you now. You now live in the dawning golden age of miracles, in which every aspect of your true self can be embodied through the conscious remembrance of our absolute oneness.
So good.
That's exactly what was highlighted here.
It's
See right here.
It's perfect.
There it is. Sophia speaking. And
something I wanted to ask, and as we're sharing all of this, the rising of this, the restoration, I don't want to say rising, the restoration of the mother presence within us all. How are you, since the book came out and in your journeys, in your own ministry, how are you experiencing men receiving this?
Wow, it's been amazing. I launched, along with the book, I launched a year-long curriculum at the beginning of the year, and it was amazing to witness the men that joined the year-long curriculum. And it was amazing to witness how much the Sophia Code was continually inviting them to not only discover the Holy Mother within them, but also how to interface with women in an entirely new way. How to allow for women to have all of their feelings without having to fix them, because this container of consciousness teaches all of us, men or women, that we can have all our feelings without having to fix them, because emotions are actually a form of intelligence, a form of divine feminine intelligence. That would be a perfect example of how the Sophia Christ consciousness is here to support both women and men. We're all reconciling with the Holy Mother, and I think it's been a true honor to witness the men in our container blossoming just as much as the women, and witnessing the peace come over them, that this is a dialogue that is for the one self, not just for one gender.
With that, I want to honor my beloved, because, he was the one who really introduced me and brought me into even the awareness of your work through another friend of ours. And in a lot of ways, like you just spelled out, there's not necessarily one gender that's carrying more of one of the masculine or feminine energy. I know a lot of times in our relationship, Jason carries a lot more of the feminine energy than I do, and the ability to hold a container for the emotions to be expressed. And I will tend to, having come from a more patriarchal background myself, go into the fix-it mode. And so I appreciate that. There is a rising of the masculine and acknowledging the mother in all life and in the planet. And so I just want to acknowledge that in you, babe, because you are a torchbearer as the masculine in this realm.
Well, thank you. Thank you both. This is, as a young man growing up, I didn't understand why I was so connected to Mother. But I can look back at lifetimes, and this is ancient wisdom. This goes back to, the Cathars. This goes back to the Essenes. This goes back to ancient lineages that runs in my blood, of this return of the Mother, of her. And, it's so important in our time, and she is present. Sophia is present and asking for us to return home. The story of the prodigal son is a very sacred story in my heart, and coming home to the Mother, is a journey, and a lot of men are still learning how to integrate that. What does that mean? And the feminine presence is something that we as men, sometimes are afraid of and don't understand. And we don't understand, when Mother, I remember growing up, Mom said, "I brought you into this world and I will take you out." And there is that sense that the Mother, Mother Earth, Gaia, is regurgitating and moving and undulating and going, "If you don't wake up, humanity, I'm going to bump you off of here." So.
I would love to know a little bit more about this program that you're journeying with. Where can people find out about it? Is it still open to find a place in this journey?
Yes, we've actually, we still have an open door to the 2017 curriculum because we've had such an international response to the book. And we're also preparing for our 2018 journey, so you can purchase this year's journey, which we're still finishing up. It's at a significantly reduced price, and we actually have a pre-launch sale going for next year's journey, which will be focusing on the elegant equations of divine feminine Christ leadership. So it's going to be a year-long journey where people who, all of the initiates around the world that have been journeying with me this year, we've been working on the journey of how to embody divine feminine and divine masculine Christ principles of consciousness. How do we embody it in our daily lives? Where the spiritual rubber hits the road is in our daily life, right? It's not on a meditation mat. It's how we're talking to our children or our partners. It's how we're being kind to one another out in the world, in our communities, and with strangers. And so we've been on this journey with the Divine Feminine Key Code teachers of how do we mentor in this consciousness. Now, next year's journey is how do we lead, teach, and heal from this consciousness? How do we be seen in this consciousness? Because as we all know, messengers of Sophia Christ consciousness, and that can also be in any lineage. It's not just the traditional Christian lineage, because Christ consciousness is unity consciousness. It's source consciousness. And many of the messengers in the past 30,000 years of dark ages that we've had have been significantly harmed or even killed for carrying forth, for presenting themselves in this energy. And the goal, the intention of this program for next year is, hey, together we can shine our brightest light for Sophia Christ consciousness to literally provide an invitation, a pathway home for the prodigal son, just like you were saying, Jason, that prodigal energy to come home and remember we're all divine. We're all significantly loved, unconditionally. And in that reconciliation and return, that's where those divine feminine and divine masculine Christ blueprints can start to unpack, unfold, unfurl from the Sacred Heart of humanity, where we can start to awaken and birth this next golden age of miracles that the Ascended Masters talk about in Chapter 5 of the Sophia Code, that we, each and every one of us, are way showers of, whether we're aware of that or not. So you can go to my website, KaiaRa.com. It's my name, KaiaRa.com, if you'd like to get on board with catching up with what we've done this year, which has been an amazing and miraculous amount of growth for initiates all over the world. And if you've been, if you're just ready to dive into that next step with leadership, there's no requirement to do this year's program to step into next year's program. I infinitely trust that there's a divine plan unfolding here for everyone that's meant to be a part of the journey in 2018.
It's so powerful. You know, something I'm just reminded, something we say, I think it's going to be said every week, but it's when Jimi Hendrix said, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, there will be peace on this planet. And ultimately what the Sophia Code, what this curriculum is returning you to the power of love, to the awareness that you are nothing but love, that you are embraced in a sphere of love, of mother's love. And when we remember that, we realign with that, we reconnect to that eternal, unmovable, changeless truth, this whole thing changes. And so that's the reason we're having this conversation. That's the reason we're here. This is why we attract beings like Kaia Ra, and our journey in our life is to restore the power of love on the planet. And it has just been an amazing journey just to have this conversation. There's so much more going to be coming up in segments. Next segment, Heather is going to sing a song. So once again, go to KaiaRa.com. Find out more about what Kaia is doing and get her book. Get it. It's a sacred text. You got to have it on the shelf. You can be on Kindle. It goes with me everywhere I go.
And again, it's called the Sophia Code. The Sophia Code.
So we'll be right back. You're listening to The Powers of Love with Jason Michael, Heather Powers, and our friend Kaia Ra. And we've got an amazing song all to Sophia that my beloved Heather's going to be singing that will move your heart. And so go to thepowersoflove.com, find out more about what we're doing, what's up. We've got a course, we've got a webinar coming up tomorrow night. You can still sign up for that. And so we'll be right back right after these short little messages.
Do you have problems with money? Would you like to never worry about money again? I'm Dr. James Mellon, and starting on November 1st, join me for CPR, Core Prosperity Relief. In just 15 minutes a day for 30 days, I will help you, like I've helped thousands before you, get clear on money. For $90, put the life pulse back into your finances. Check me out at jamesmellon.org. That's jamesmellon with 2 L's.org.
How old are you? 25, 35, 50, or older? If you have pain, we can help. Do your knees hurt?
Ow!
Let me ask you again. Are your knees killing you?
Oh, yeah. Are they ever?
What about your back? When you bend over, does it feel like this? How about when you get out of bed in the morning? If you're like me, your knees and back feel like this.
Oh, that hurts.
I found a company called the Pain Relief Hotline. They specialize in ways to treat your knee, back, and neck pain without surgery or taking medications. The good news is if you have insurance, you may have little or no cost or out-of-pocket expense. I've used them. It works. Call the Pain Relief Hotline now for free information. 800-309-2677. 800-309-2677. Call now. 800-309-2677. That's 800-309-2677.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the art of the masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant, 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
All right, welcome back to the Powers of Love. Jason Michael Heather Powers with our dear sister, Kaia Ra. And we've been so much that we're going to talk about. We're going to continue this conversation. And, there's questions that you may have, but just stay tuned and email us and let us know what's on your heart. The Powers of Love, 1111@gmail.com. But would you like to say just a quick goodbye and your website, Kaia, and just any last quick comments?
Absolutely. Thank you. I just want to say thank you again, Jason and Heather, for this opportunity to connect with your community and your listeners. Again, if you'd like to learn more about the Sophia Code and our journey that we're going on for Divine Feminine Christ Leadership in 2018, you can visit www.kaiara.com, KAIARA.com, and I'm sending every blessing of Sophia from my heart to yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kaia. Go ahead, Heather.
Do not forsake beautiful wisdom. She will protect and guard your life. Love her and she will watch over. She will relieve all pain and strife. Arise, arise, O ancient one. Arise, arise, song. Arise, arise, oh ancient one. Arise and lead us home. Prajna Paramita, beautiful Sophia, Narina Himana. You are life, you are peace, Prajna Paramita, beautiful Sophia, Narina Himana. You are life, you are peace. Arise, arise, oh ancient one. Arise, arise and sing your song. Arise, arise, oh ancient one. Arise and lead us home. Arise and lead us home. Arise and lead us home.
Yes, the powers of love. Thank you so much for being with us. We're allowing this love, this divine wisdom to come through and pour through. And whatever that means to you, just choose love. It is the greatest force in the universe. It wants to bring all the goodness to you in love, in relationship, in health, and money, and everything that you can imagine. When you activate that love presence, that mother love presence within you, call it what you want, but it is good. It is so yummy. So thank you so much for being with us today with Kaia Ra, Jason Michael, Heather Powers, the powers of love. Thank you, bud. Thank you for that song. We'll see you next week. Have an amazing week. Have a safe Halloween. Be good with that candy. And we'll see you next week.
Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin'. And take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help